Oh my god!
The podcast.
It's filmed live in front of a live studio audience.
That's it. That's the one. That's it. It's the Dicebreaker Podcast. We're here. It is the first podcast of autumn. I'm going to say this for everything that we do. That's the first of autumn, like I did in the stream yesterday. Can't get over it. I'm so excited.
Apart from Alex, me, and we're all absolutely buzzed.
It's pro-autumn bias here.
R.I.P. summer for you, me, and I'm so sorry. This is a memorial podcast.
The best season is now not technically over yet. I've still got a few more days.
Goodbye to disgusting, sweaty summer. Hello, nice jumpers, autumn.
Look, I feel like being really sweaty is a you problem.
I think it's most of the UK problem.
It's a me problem, and I hate it. Yeah.
Well, it's fine. Your time to shine is here. I'll go back into my little hole and wait for summer to come out again so I can bloom.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's where we're
at. Wales, you want to? Who's on this bloody thing?
This is we've got Maddie hosting. Matt's not here. It's all a bit different. But the long and short of it is, hello and welcome to the Dicebreaker Podcast. We are here with three members of the team. It's me, Michael Wheels Whelan. We've also got Alex Meehan. How you doing?
Hi, yeah, I'm good. I was going to say something, but then I didn't.
Yeah, I can tell, yeah. And then we've also got Maddie Cullen. How you doing?
Hello. I could say something and then not say it too, and then we're all the same.
We can all do that. Or we can start saying things because we are on a podcast. If you've not tuned into the Dicebreaker Podcast before, this is our sort of weekly catch-up on what we've been up to, what kind of news stories have been hitting the presses recently, as well as usually a big feature, but today we've got some very, very big news. Which we're going to be talking about because Disney have released a massive trading card game, or are releasing rather, which they're potentially trying to beat their way into the top of the market with, because they are the giant media mogul and they have to have absolutely every single aspect of all media under their control, thanks Disney. But we will get to that soon. First off, we're going to find out what everyone's been up to this week. And Maddie, seeing as you're so graciously hosting the podcast for us, would you like to let us know what you've been up to?
Okay, yeah. What have I been up to? Well, my big news this week is that I killed my first player in D&D.
Okay, I didn't know where that sentence was going to end up.
I killed my first victim.
It's awesome. My victims are coming. They're being murdered.
Surprise. This is actually a serial killer podcast. No, it's not.
It's true
not
crime.
Not another true crime podcast, for the love of God.
Yeah, but this time we're doing the crime.
It's different.
Please don't take that out of context. We have done no crimes.
I'm not doing crimes. It was not a crime. It's not illegal.
Tell us about this crime.
Yeah, so as if you've listened to the podcast before, every Thursday I DM Well Beyond the Witchlight for my players. It's very fun. True. It's a great adventure. And they faced off the second hag today.
How many hags are there?
3 hags.
3 hags? That's a lot of hags.
It's a coven.
Oh my God.
There's a coven. There's 3 of them.
Like the 3 in here.
Yeah. Well, they faced off the second one, which is the challenge rating was incredibly high, and before the session I felt pretty sick because I was like, this seems incredibly high for where they should be level wise. For any D&D people, they're a group of 4 players at level 4. The challenge rating was 8, which is like 2 above a deadly. A 6 would be a deadly encounter. Like, it was an 8, so I was like, okay. But like most CR ratings, it's a bit janky. So we got into the fight. They were doing so well. They were wearing her down. It was incredible. Then they had a few bad rolls. One of them pulled off a little bit of a risky move and failed their dex check, trying to do this cool thing where they like fell on top of her with their sword. So their health had been worn down. And then the hag rolled a natural 1, and it was like, okay. Then they got their second attack, rolled a natural 20, and reduced this player's health down to 0, and then their entire health again into the negative, so they instantly killed. Like, no death saves, nothing, just instantly dead.
Oh my God.
I didn't realise it was happening, but they were just like, I'm dead. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, that's like my entire HP again. And I was like, what have I done?
Dark Souls, you died, comes up on the screen.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, if I I had no idea, because like I could have like, you know, fudged the roll or something, like normal, you know, if you're trying to like not kill people. I was like, oh, it's too late. They're dead. That's happened. It was a really good dramatic moment. They were, you know, fighting a hag to free a bunch of children from this weird cursed toy workshop. They'd had like a really good moment. The player had also written a will the night before. So I'm like, well, that's what happens.
Well, they obviously knew it was coming then.
When you do stuff like this. So, so they died. It was very sad. And we had to, the worst bit is like having to carry on with the fight.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, well, you're top of the round now. So you're up next. People were just looking at me like, are you serious? Yeah. But everyone took it really well. I was the most stressed, I think, of everybody. It was really good. It was a really good moment. And I think it's been a good turning point in the kind of like the Feywild isn't all fun and games. So that was my big defining rite of passage as a DM. It was pretty crazy.
Well, you know, it's part of the game, right?
It's part of the game.
Death is a thing that can happen. It's mechanic.
Yeah.
It's not. I feel like it's not part of the game that many people ever really interact with. That, like, you know, you'll have a little like, oh, I was on my last death save, but that's like, it's very rare that you actually hear people die in D&D. But it sounds like it's because of their own stupid fault. So, you know.
Wow.
It's just, the dice just have a story to tell. It's one of those things where it's like the dice are either going to be with you or against you. Like, it's very much, it's one of the things I enjoy about D&D combat is like, you got to look at what the dice are trying to tell you. And like, if they get a natural 20, you're like, okay, well, that's like, they've angered the hag and like, she is going to put it all on you in that one moment. You know, that's what like, you know, it's the story that the dice are telling beyond like me making up the story. It's interesting. It's a good part of the game, and I think it's more enjoyable when you have the risk of death around the corner. It makes the stakes.
Oh yeah, you've got to have some kind of stake. Yeah, otherwise, you know, why are you fighting? Yeah,
you're kind of just superheroes and invincible at that point. Which
also, like when you take on a hag that's, you know, like 4 levels above you.
I said to them, like, they came in and they were like, and they were meant to wait in this parlour to meet her, and they started like wandering around her house. So she came in, she was already angry, and then she was like, okay, let's go back to the parlour, and they're like, no. And I was like, you guys came into her house, you were rude
it's their
to
fault.
her.
Immediately their fault.
I had to kill
What
one
were they
of you.
expecting?
I had to do it.
Yeah. You made mummy do it.
you made me do it. Even though I didn't.
You've made your bed, now die in it.
Yeah. That was my big thing. Other than that, also played D&D on Wednesday. I played some Spelljammer.
How many D&D sessions did you do this week, Maddie?
Well, this week it was only...
Just what? Just 4?
No, it's only 2 this week, even though normally it could be 4.
This is why we can't play Vampire the Masquerade, because you and Liv just play D&D all the time.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change.
So many wonderful games out there just waiting to be played.
There's just this WhatsApp chat now that's just sat there, and I'm like, well...
Yeah.
Yep.
Ship has sailed. I've signed up
Maybe
to
I'll put a little
things.
gif in it that's like, sad face. Vampire, like the Adam Sandler vampire from Hotel Transylvania or something.
Oh.
Get that picture of Keanu Reeves looking sad on a bench, but have like some little fangs drawn on him.
Yeah, I can do that.
Perfect.
Keanu Reeves looks like a vampire. I reckon.
Yeah, you feel like you don't really need to add much. You're like, yeah, that's
Exactly.
a vampire.
Yeah.
He's 50% of the way there already, you know.
He's one of those actors that's like only just gotten better with age.
Yeah, and he doesn't age either. He's looked exactly the same his entire life. So, vampire.
No.
I'm just saying.
He hit a point in his life where he became like a hot daddy, and he's been like that for the past like what feels like 15 years.
4 billion years.
He just he went from like sweet little boy, and then he went hot daddy, and now he's just been in a hot daddy phase.
I feel like that's quite normal though, because I feel like from like child, teen, early 20s, like you're still growing and maturing, and like your face is reaching your adult face shape, and then once it's reached your adult face shape, then you're like, that's
you
what you look like then, like.
And you get really cool hair, and
yeah,
I know me.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the stage. I can't wait till my beard grows in and I get my cool
hair.
hair.
I can't wait. I can't wait for my hot daddy phase.
It's gonna be amazing.
We're all waiting on the hot daddy phase.
Hot daddy autumn. Let's do it.
Are you currently in your hot daddy phase? Message the channel.
Let us know.
hotdaddies@dicebreaker.com. Anything else you've been up to, Maddie? Wanton Murder?
Yeah, I played... So Monday night I played the City of Mist little short thing that we're playing. Tuesday night I played Stardew Valley, which isn't a video game, but...
Nice.
Which isn't a board game, it is a video game.
It is a video game, but it's also a
board game. Yes, it is. But no, it was the video game version. Very fun. And Wednesday some Spelljammer, which was very fun, despite the fact...
How are you... So now that you've had a little bit more experience with Spelljammer, because you already had a little bit of a wobble with... not sure about this and how good this book is.
I just think
What do you reckon?
The problem is, like, Spelljammer is so incredible and it's such an amazing setting. It was kind of like they couldn't lose, and yet somehow Wizards of the Coast have lost. Like, it's very clearly like that no one from the creative team signed off on it. I feel like it was kind of like a marketing thing where they were like, it needs to be 3 books, but it also needs to hit that like classic D&D book like $50 mark, and they've done that, but the cost of like gutting what Spelljammer should be. Like, they've just like the monster manual has like 4 monsters in it, the rest are just like it's that race, but like their stat block, and I'm like, I don't need that. I have a bandit stat block, it's fine. The adventure is like alright, like, it's very thin, and then the actual book itself, there's no rules for ships. There's like rules that they mention for stuff.
It's the whole point of the setting.
I know. So I stole the Ghosts of Saltmarsh book from the office, and I'm lent that to Oliver, who was DMing it, because that's got some ship rules in if anyone wants it. And they open Spelljam and realise you don't have what you need to play it. I love the setting. I love it, but it's just the books are just...
Why did they release a free book?
I don't know. I think...
Why did they release a bloody monster manual? That's what I want to know.
Well, I want
just like
a good monster manual. They put more in it.
Either that, or like just do one big source book, because before, like, the settings would just get a source book and the monsters would be in there, and because you're not splitting your time between 3 different books, you've got, and also you're doing a campaign at the same time, right? Just release a source book if you don't have to. Because the thing is, the release schedule that Wizards of the Coast are going in right now is really intense, and it's just not necessary, to be honest. Because who finishes campaigns and things like that quickly? Honestly, like most people's campaigns.
Apart from that,
well, most people's campaigns last like a lot of them last like years, right? They're not going to move on to like a new setting, you know, straight from the off. So this like need that Wizards seems to have to like fire out these books. Obviously, they're doing it because they're like, D&D's really hot right now. We want to catch people with whatever we can. Money, obviously. But it's just kind of not necessary, and it's actually seems to be affecting the quality of the products they're putting out, because this is what's making me nervous now about like Planescape. Because they're doing the same thing with Planescape next year.
Oh, I don't think
this isn't good.
No, I'm so excited. I
like it. And Planescape is massively more complicated than Spelljammer. Like, Spelljammer is basically sci-fi D&D, right?
It's science fantasy. It's Treasure Planet. Like, it's such an easy win. Like, just and it's the setting. It's not like the fact that you have to buy an adventure with it is really interesting to me, because I'm like, I can't imagine who that's appealing to, like, as far as, like, my circle of D&D friends goes.
New players, I think, right? Because some new players might have been like, oh, I've heard of Spelljammer, but I've never played it before. Oh, look, there's a ready-made adventure for me. I'll play that.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to buy it all together. Like, I would only want the source book and the monster manual. The fact that, like, you have to also go buy it and, like, get this other little book.
No, I genuinely don't, because they would probably make more money if they sold them separately, right?
Make them bigger books.
But I wonder whether it's literally time. Like, they had this ambitious thing where it's like, we're bringing back Spelljammer in this really big way, you know, like, it's a huge return. Let's make it a big release. Let's do 3 books in one as a package. But by doing that, you've naturally put more pressure on yourself. And when you can't bring out a product that lives up to the quality as well as like that many books in one package, something's got to give, right? And also with everything else that they're planning to bring out, like they've announced this Dragonlance book they're bringing out, I believe, later this year already. And this year alone, they brought out what? I'm trying to remember all of them. They brought out Radiant Citadels. Before that was the Monsters of the Multiverse. I'm trying to remember the one before that. Was that the Critical Role adventure book?
The newest Critical Role wasn't Wizards, it was their own thing.
No. Oh, wait. The
like Tal'Dorei.
No. I'm talking about the campaign they brought out that we played. Of
Wildmount, yeah. That came out last year?
No. I'm pretty sure the... My God, what the hell is it called?
The Neverdeep.
Call of the Neverdeep.
Oh, yeah, the super campaign, yeah.
Scobby Wobby
God.
Scobby Wobby River, yeah, my bad.
God, totally blanked on that.
Came out this year as well.
That even happened, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? You forgot that even happened.
God.
And I think Strixhaven was last year. That was the end of last year. So, like, this year alone, they've already brought out, like... so many books that we can't even remember all of them, and this is our job to cover these books. And they're bringing out yet another one like later this year, which is the Dragonlance one, which they announced with the Wizards Presents. And like this Spelljammer set alone was 3 books, like in one package.
The problem with the Spelljammer is that they clearly had a bigger book. Like they clearly had put more work into it, because there's references to things like as if like they'd written about it in another chapter, but that chapter doesn't exist anymore. Like that's what is weird, is like you're like, oh, okay, that's a rule that they've mentioned, I'll go look up where that is, and it's not in there anymore. So it's clearly like we need to trim this down, and that's what I find even worse. It's not like they just like rushed it out and put like a tiny bit in. It's like they had this and then they were like, let's cut it down. I'm like, no.
I wonder whether they're just I feel like they've been putting a lot of focus on like presentation recently with their books. So for example, bringing out the 2 alternate versions of every single book, right? It's like that's even more production cost. Like, is it worth it?
They've always done like variant covers though.
They've always done variant covers.
Yeah.
But I suppose now they're doing like they're doing 3 books at once, which means also 3 variant covers for those. Yeah, I mean, and didn't it have a DM screen as well? Like, and
it's like, because all that stuff looks amazing. Like, it is like beautifully presented.
Yeah, the production
it looks
is great.
lovely.
But, like, what's inside is like that's what matters ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Like people when they announced Spelljammer, people were really excited, and I think most people were excited. Like, we get to experience this setting for 5e, and like the parts of the books that are like covering the setting seem to be really like lackluster. I think most people would have preferred just a big old source book, not necessarily even an adventure, or they could have released a small starter adventure for free with it or something, like rather than putting it in this book and it being really kind of bland and lackluster. And now they're going to do it for Planescape, and I'm like, don't. Course correct. Just do a book. We don't want the monster manual and stuff. We just want a source book for Planescape that we understand, and now it's going to be bad.
I'm hoping like they all have seen the negative reaction to Spelljammer, and like maybe that'll make them be able to push back at whatever marketing team was like, this is a good idea, and make them go like, okay, maybe we should actually like make a good product as well as not just a nice package.
I think they start these things really early. I wouldn't be surprised if that Planescape, I think it's too late for Planescape. I think that Planescape book is already like being written as we speak, I reckon. Like they are. Yeah. So, and they're already writing it as a set of 3 books, and I'm like, no, I don't want it. It's such a complicated saying as well. How are you going to explain all this stuff in that little ditty book? Like, it's just not going to do it, is it? So I think it's really interesting because I think something similar is happening with Magic the Gathering, from what I can tell, where people have, been making comments about the fact that the release cycle at the moment is so intense, unnecessarily intense, that people are like, how are you doing this? Like,
well, we're seeing that kind of in other companies as well. Like the stuff with Steamforged around the Dark Souls RPG was all just like way too far out the door. I think maybe there's like a question that needs to be asked of like how sustainable the current business model for most tabletop large companies is, because like the rate at which they seem to be putting things out doesn't necessarily seem like they're just like, oh yeah, we've just got so much content, so many writers are going to write loads of things. It looks like they're struggling to keep up with their own momentum. And I do wonder how long that can last before, something just falls down.
But it's like if one company's doing that, then the rest of them are like, oh, well, I need to do that as well. And then they're just going to keep pushing each other until the bubble bursts, really.
Depends. Like Wizards, I think, is a very unique example because they are fully focused now on the two big franchises, right? Like Wizards of the, like D&D and Magic the Gathering. Like these are the two things that they support. And these are like basically Marvel Studios franchises, right? Not literally, but in terms of the way that they're being managed and kind of like fed at the moment this is like they're in the Wizards Present. They're like, this is the release schedule, just the same as Disney are like, these are the films that are coming out. They've already plan them. They're not like releasing things as and when they want to or they make sense to.
They're ready.
They're just firing them out because they're like, we've got to feed our children, our ravenous children. They're hungry. We've got to keep them fed. And like some of us sat here going, we would rather like wait for something to be finished and like of good quality than you just firing it out just to keep keep that momentum going. Like Dungeons and Dragons is massive at the moment. Like Magic the Gathering continues to be a Behemoth. Hint to discussions later. But it is interesting to see what's happening, and it's kind of a disappointing with the various other issues that D&D has been facing. Spelljammer specifically, the playable species in that, what they called again, Hadozi?
Yeah, I think they have finally redacted that now on D&D
Have they
Beyond.
actually?
I think I saw something
it's
about
not D&D Beyond, but it's in the books, right?
You can't take the books
printed.
back.
You can't. Maybe future editions they release, but that stuff. If people don't know what we're talking about, I can't remember the name of the person that I saw tweeting about it. I'm really sorry.
I've seen a lot of people mention it, so
maybe we'll put it in the description of this video at some point if we can. But or we'll tweet it, or I'll tweet it or something. But there's been a discussion going on Twitter about the Hadozi playable species in Spelljammer, and all the kind of really tone deaf, like
truly,
like.
Because they already had like a pretty dodgy log of stuff for that race already from the original setting. So it was a real chance for Wizards to fix a lot of that, and it doesn't look like they've done a very good job. But I mean, that that's a bit of a trend, isn't it? Just always like just a little bit short of the mark of where they really should be when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Well, it's the case of like that's the frustrating thing, that they have been making efforts to try and improve things, right? With removing ability score modifiers for species and moral alignments and like going on backgrounds and or like choosing your character is like this because of the experiences they've had, not because of the species or that they are. And that's all really positive stuff. And then they go and publish. I urge people just search Hadozi controversy or something like that. You will find people talking about it who are much more informed and are rightfully angry about this. Where like this stuff is like borderline, it's racist.
It's just unbelievable that it got published.
Yeah,
like you read it and you're like, I don't understand.
Who is looking at
how
like
no
you said,
one.
Manny.
Again, though, it's being rushed out the door, right?
Yeah.
I think it's not getting enough checks. It's not getting enough attention. Yeah, it's not great. It's not a good look for the biggest company in the entire industry.
No.
Have you played anything else, Millie?
No, that's me. No, that is me. Love D&D, love other things, but yes, mainly that.
The Maddie Special, as we like to call it here on the Dicebreaker Podcast. Mian, would you like to go next, or shall I?
I can go next if you want.
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
I've not done a huge amount, to be honest. Like, a lot of more of the same. We also played some Dungeons and Dragons for a very specific and exciting reason that we can't talk about yet. But I know, right?
We did a little hint on the live stream yesterday that maybe we've been recording something very exciting that's Dungeons and Dragons related. That maybe it's going to go off on the channel at some point.
Oh my
Who knows?
God.
Maybe it's one of the coolest things we've ever done as a channel. Who knows?
Just might be the coolest thing we've ever done.
It is. Yeah. It's pretty sick. It's just putting that out there. It's pretty goddamn sick.
I've also played more Quacks of Quedlinburg because all my friends seem to want to play is Quacks of Quedlinburg.
It's fantastic.
Just a good game.
I know. It was my birthday weekend last weekend, and I had quite a few friends come down, and we were sort of sat around the table, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to go around the corner and kind of look at the game collection and pick something?" And they were like, "We just want to play Quacks," and I was like, "You want to play Quacks?" And they were like, "Yeah," and I was like, don't get me wrong, I love Quacks and Quedlinburg, and we got to play some of the expansion as well, which the Herb Witches. I do want to get the Alchemist at some point. It's just such a crowd pleaser. But like, I've just played so much Quacks now, and I'm like, can we play something else? But
I think we get this thing where, like, because we're game joners and we play things all the time, and it's like we want to try new stuff all the time, and we also feel like we have to, and then we go and play with our friends who are just like playing for fun, and they're like, I want to play this again. And it's like, okay, I've got 400 games behind me, but I guess we'll play the one we already played again.
Yeah, we have to go and play with the normies. And they're like,
no, I tried to put it nice.
It's Quacks like D&D of board games now.
Yeah.
In Mian's group it is, yeah.
Yeah, in my group it is. No, it's fine. The thing is, I often crave like board games that are quite meaty, and like a lot of my friends just don't enjoy. Like, some of my friends really love those, and like those are the friends that I will play those games with, like Terraforming Mars or Scythe or Root, those kind of really meaty games. But then when you've got a bigger group, you've got to keep everyone happy, right? And so you go with something that everyone's gonna kind of have fun with. So I'm like sat there with my like big old box of like Scythe or something, and we still haven't played with. I still haven't played with Scythe or Root.
Oh my god!
I can only play them online because my friends are just like, whenever we get together, we want to play a fun game. And I'm like, I want to play a hard one.
Root is fun.
Root is fun.
Watching me win a destroy you all is fun. I don't understand why you don't want to play.
I don't want to play your baby game. We also played some Detective Club. I probably talked about that on the pod before, but it is a game that's like Dixit, but it has.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, it's like Dixit, but it's good.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't think there's any like big Dixit fans who are like, how dare you? How could you?
I don't get Dixit. I love Mysterium and I love Detective Club. But no, Detective Club is a game where you're using those kind of illustrative weird cards, and you're trying to match like a theme that one of you hasn't been told about, and the one person who has been told has to try and kind of figure out what the theme might be, or at least try and like pretend they know by playing cards that they think sort of fit with the others. And then everyone has to explain why they played what they played, and then everyone votes who they think the imposter is. And the amount of times that someone has gotten away with it because they're just able. Either they're really lucky or they're just able to talk their way out of it. And the amount of times I was accused of being the imposter, and I was never the imposter once. And I was like, I've got such bad cards, everyone. And
you're just an incredibly guilty looking person, man. I don't know what to tell you. You've got that mischievous glint in your eye, like you're always up to something.
I am mischievous, it's true. It's one of my main traits. Yeah. I am like a woodland creature. Like a gnome of some sort.
That makes some sense. When you said woodland creature, I'm like, is like a deer particularly sneaky?
Like an imp or something.
I mean, you've seen that Adventure Time one that like takes his hooves off and goes...
It's the worst episode in the world of TV I've ever watched. It's so disturbing to me.
It's horrible.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh my god, man, it's horrid.
There's like a deer that's up to some weird stuff in the sewers, and there's a shot where he has his hooves, but they're fake hooves, and he takes them off and he's got human hands, and he goes like this, and it's horrible.
It's so weird. Like, the first time I watched it, I was so disturbed. Like, that's you.
The only character I can think about in Adventure Time is Tree Trunks.
Oh, I love Tree Trunks.
I am Tree Trunks.
You kind of are, yeah.
I accept that.
I kind of am. I'm weird, slightly horny. Well, and I might have a relationship with some sort of pig man.
I love it. I can't wait to like have to ban you guys from kissing everywhere in public.
Otherwise, I've been playing Gloomhaven Digital. We managed to rope another sucker into our group.
Nice.
More fodder for the enemies. We're actually doing a lot better now that we have 4 people in our party, surprisingly enough. The game is actually more manageable.
Yeah, I don't know how well balanced the like smaller group sizes are on the digital one, because it was hard when we played it.
Yeah, that game doesn't mess about. I mean, it's still difficult. Like, one mission will still take forever because we have to be so careful about what we do and not mess it up. But having an extra person in the party has definitely made things a lot easier. Otherwise, been watching a lot on Netflix. I watched Mindhunter, just all of Mindhunter, which is really good.
Have you checked out Unabomber yet?
No, I will do. It's on the list. And then I started Better Call Saul, which is really good. On the recommendation of Mr. Jarvis, was like,
it is the best show on Netflix. Just thrown out there, like it is absolutely incredible. I've only recently like finished it, and me and Zoe have started all over again. We're just watching through the whole thing again. We're already on season 3. It is just incredible. Like, it's such a good show.
Yeah, I've never been that interested in like Breaking Bad because I've always felt like the show like has this air of kind of like bad boy, like, oh, it's not your daddy's television, you know, like sort of vibe about it, which has always kind of put me off. You know, the fact that like so much of the audience is just horrible about one of the few female characters in it, and like
it's one of those like. It's like Alan Moore with Rorschach. It's like, why are you idolizing the person I've specifically designed to be the worst human ever? Why is this happening?
Yeah. But so I was like, didn't really want to touch it. But then Matt was like, you should watch Better Call Saul. And I was like, I'll give it a go. And immediately I'm like, no, this is great. I think the characters are it's just so sad but funny and just like pathetic, and
it's also a good kumskfuck.
It's also like the character of Jimmy McGill is like, he is the kind of character I love to play, like characters who just talk and talk and talk and like sometimes get themselves in more trouble than they want to get themselves out of. There you go, that's what I've been doing. Wills, what have you been doing and playing?
Well, me, and I'm so glad you asked, because something absolutely incredible happened to me yesterday. Came home, opened up a cardboard box, and sat there was my brand new Steam Deck.
Oh my god, you've got it with you. Are you playing it right now?
This feels like we're in school and it's show and tell, and you're like, Mummy and Daddy got me this.
Mummy and Daddy didn't get me crap. I bought this on my own. I had sweat and tears.
Why have you bought it?
Because it's portable. It's the whole point. I was playing it at lunch.
So good, yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. God. What else would you want?
I should have come into the office and watched you played it. Can't believe I didn't do that.
Hit power. Blammo, Valheim, good to go. You know, it's wild. It's just, I've been wanting this thing since they announced it, and like, it feels surreal that I've actually got it now. But like, it is absolutely lovely. You know, you could play some board games on it because it's Steam. You can play pretty much anything on Steam, and more things being added to the compatibility as you go.
Like, this is part.
We just talked about Better Call Saul. I can talk about my Steam Deck.
Yeah, I'm vetoing it. I want Steam Deck talk. I'm for it. Sorry, Ian. This is a Steam Deck
Liv
podcast.
has also literally just bought. So I got a reservation, like via a colleague who works on Eurogamer, because he had already bought somebody else's. So we've got this weird chain of people buying each other's Steam Decks. But I was an idiot and like pre-ordered the most expensive model, and then when it came around I was like, oh, why did I get them? I don't want the most expensive one, but he had the sort of middle tier one, so I ended up buying his. But now Liv has now literally just bought my reservation.
Oh my God.
So if Liv had a reservation, Maddie, then you just buy hers, and then it'll be like one of these chain letters that get sent around where it's like, you are cursed, you have to buy a Steam Deck from this account, otherwise you'll never see your family again.
I sign up. I'll do it. Let me be cursed.
No.
It's bloody wonderful. It's got like it's like playing, you know, with a Switch or whatever, but it's just infinitely customizable. Like the thing that you appreciate about PC games is just, if I want, I can just fiddle around with the settings, or I can just press a button and all of a sudden it's a desktop. Like, it's wild. It's such a cool little thing, and I'm really, really excited about it, and I'm going to be playing it a lot. So, you know, expect that to be talked about quite a bit. And now that Liv is game one as well, I've said that we're going to have like a little Steam Deck table at lunch. And we're like, sorry, Maddie, I mean, you can't sit with us. This is a Steam Deck table. So
I'll have my Switch out, like, hey guys. Oh
my God, that's so embarrassing. I'm going to give you a wedgie.
Wow.
But no, it's very, very cool. It's very, very cool. I'm very excited about it. And yeah, I can't wait to go back home and play more. But outside of that, I have also been doing two kind of interesting things. First of all, I've been playing some more Decorum. I played a bit more of the 3/4 player mode, which is the 3/4 player mode feels more like just like playing a game. It doesn't feel quite as, it doesn't have the same magic as the 2-player mode, because you don't have the like character writing in it. You just have a scenario. So you don't have like individual little blurbs about who you are and why you've got these weird requests and stuff. But it's still like the corporate gameplay is fun enough that doesn't really matter. I'm hoping to at some point soon review it on the channel, with obviously quite a lot of glowing praise, because it's absolutely brilliant. But I've also, me and Zoe bought a book called Kane's Jawbone. Have you guys heard of this?
Oh yeah. I was
Me, any familiar? No?
So cool.
So back in the 30s?
It's like 30s.
I think
when you were alive, yeah?
Yeah, you know, back when I was 14. I think it's a Spanish author wrote this like murder mystery as a book. So it's kind of like playing Sherlock Consulting Detective. So it's like a book murder mystery. There's 6 murders in it. You have to solve who died and who killed them. And then the actual book itself is like designed to be cut up, because all the pages are in the wrong order. So you get all these excerpts. You have to figure out the exact order of the pages, figure out who the murderers are. I think only like 3 people have solved it, or something stupid like that. Like, and they had this prize in like the Times at the time or whatever. And it was like, if you can write in with the correct answers, you'll win 15 English pounds. But then it got sort of crowd funded as like a new edition. And they're doing a contest, which I think runs out like this year, which is like, we'll give 250 quid in like book tokens to whoever can do it or whatever. Yes. But yeah, it's really cool. It's just like a little tiny little book. the pages are designed so that you can cut them out and then sort of like, get like a big cork board and stick things together and whatever.
Yes.
And then they've got like a little slip in the book, and it's like, give us the correct order of the pages and the names of the people, and send it in and see if you're right. But yeah, it's very cool. It's very interesting. So we're going to give that a go this weekend, I think.
That's so fun.
But yeah, we haven't started yet, but already I read one entry and I was like, oh God, okay.
I've seen a lot of people say that like there seems like pop culture references and like societal things, like if you weren't around in the 20s or 30s, it's going to like go over your head. So you could do like a lot of historical research and stuff as well, which is just really cool. Like that's so fun.
Yeah, it feels like a little LARP or something, like it's really interesting. So yeah, I'll keep you updated and how we did in that. If we give up after about 2 attempts, then soz. But yeah, there you go. But that's pretty much all I've been up to. I've had like a lot of stuff on, so I haven't been able to like play things. And we also, my regular print weaver group is on hiatus at the moment because one of them is on holiday. So I've got like these Monday nights free that I'm thinking I need to do something with, but I'm not sure yet. Might play Mouse Ritter. I really want to play Mouse Ritter.
Yes, I'm so keen to play it. Like
Monday night Mouse Ritter.
Yeah.
Mouse Ritter looks very good, and Matt was very, very keen on it when he tried it as well. But yeah,
good luck organising anything with Matt Jarvis.
Oh no, it will be in person anyway. So
right, okay.
I don't think Matt will want to take a 3-hour train drive down or whatever.
Hey, for Mouse Ritter, maybe.
Maybe he will. But there you go. That is what I've been up to this week. We will push forward into the next section, which is where we are about to talk about the news. One of those stories, of course, will be our main feature, as hinted at in the thumbnail and the title, so stick around for that. If you've just joined us and you're wondering if we've already spoken about it or not yet, we have not yet, so stick around. But this is, we've just had a message from Yasmin who says, I'm new to the stream, what's happening? This is the Dicebreaker Podcast. We talk about what we've been up to this week, the news in the tabletop world, as well as a little feature where we're going to be talking about the brand new Disney trading card game that's seeking to rival Magic the Gathering. Mia, I'm going to throw over to you to tell us about some of the more interesting stories from the Dicebreaker.com website this week.
Oh my god, there's so many stories. Well, other than the Disney trading card game, the only other one we wanted to kind of highlight was the fact that there's this company called Fandom, and they owned the kind of they're going to release a Dragon Prince RPG. I believe the Dragon Prince is a Netflix animated series. I've not watched it.
The name rings a bell. I'm not sure about what's in it.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, people have been like, oh, it's like Avatar. And I'm like, okay. I don't like the art style, though. So that's one of the things.
That's when it's like an animated show and the art style, you don't vibe with it. You're like,
that's tough.
You can't.
Yeah, that's kind of like CGI anime style.
Oh god, yeah.
Really,
I always think of. Did you ever, when you were a kid, watch something called Code Lyoko?
Oh, that sounds weirdly familiar.
It always reminds me of that for some reason. The like 3D anime. It was made by like a French studio trying to make anime, and it's one of the ugliest TV shows I've ever seen, apart from maybe Reboot, which is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I just don't like the aesthetic. But anyway. There was, so there's a tabletop role-playing game based on the Dragon Prince, Tales of Xadia, and Fandom was set to kind of release it, but it looks like Dire Wolf, which is the company that publishes Clank, and now they completely own Clank as well, because they bought the rights basically from Renegade. They now own the rights to Tales of Xadia. So this is very interesting because Renegade Game Studios, the company that they co-published Clank with, is also known for releasing tabletop role-playing games. So they do like Kids on Bikes, the Transformers role-playing game they're releasing.
There's a Transformers role-playing game?
Yeah, there is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but Direwolf now seem to be releasing, or at least gaining the rights to tabletop role-playing games themselves. So it's like they looked at Renegade and were like, because Direwolf also do their own digital games as well. So they
did the Pokemon online, didn't they? The trading card game online or something like that.
No.
Yeah, Direwolf Digital, the publisher behind Pokemon TCG Online and Clank.
I didn't really do that anyway.
I think that's the old one, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a Pokemon trading card game live, and now there's a new one that's coming out. We played the beta, but anyway, basically, Fandom is like what seems to be just offloading a load of its stuff, particularly its tabletop role-playing games. So Hasbro recently bought D&D Beyond from Fandom as well. So now Wizards of the Coast, who are owned by Hasbro, now officially own D&D Beyond. And that was originally owned by Fandom. So Fandom are basically seem to be like flinging their tabletop role-playing stuff out. Just clear it all out. We don't want it anymore. And now, Direwolf has acquired some of their stuff. And this also means that... So Fandom was originally going to be releasing a tabletop role-playing game based on He-Man.
Okay.
Masters of the Universe.
I mean, it's no by the power of Gay Skull, but fair play.
No, it's not the power of Gay Skull, which is a Thirsty Sword Lesbians reference. But Cortex was developing the Legends of Grey Skull, Masters of the Universe tabletop role-playing game, and Cortex is basically owned by Fandom. So Fandom has sold Cortex to Direwolf, but it looks like it might die. There's no confirmation as to whether they're going to continue developing this because the Tales of Xadia was already done. This He-Man RPG was in the middle of development, but now Cortex are owned by Direwolf. There was a video announcing the RPG, which has now gone private on YouTube. Although there's still a sign-up page for it available, so it might just be in an indefinite hiatus. So many fans of He-Man who are looking forward to that tabletop role-playing game. Sorry everyone. It's
bad day for big He-Man fans. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
Any of you still out there? Let us know.
Sure.
Hey, there's fans. Is there a Netflix show coming out, or is
I'm a Skeletor fan. I'll tell you that. Big fan of Skeletor.
Skeletor.
I'm a She-Ra fan.
Big gay icon. Big gay icon. Along with Man-at-Arms, Beastman, probably Sorceress, right? Is that what she was called? The one who was turned into a bird?
I have no idea. I've never watched He-Man.
No.
I have nothing to add.
Look, it's all about Man of War with his dad mustache. Okay.
Yeah, Man of War. Yeah. And Beastman. Anyway, so there's that news. Now let's go on to our main news, everyone. This is what you're here for, possibly. Wheels. Let's. Do you want me to outline this, or do you want to do it?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Are you too busy arguing with our fans in the chat about Reboot?
Look, I'm just going to say this right now. I don't know what the quality of Reboot's storytelling is or anything like that, okay? I'm sure you love it as a show, but it's goddamn ugly, and I won't be retracting that statement. Anyway.
Lorcana Wheels.
Look. Disney, they're releasing a brand new trading card game via Ravensburger, is that right?
Yep. It's a partnership with Ravensburger. Ravensburger is like this massive company. They put out something you've probably heard of. Like they
also did Villainous, right?
They did Villainous. They did Villainous. They've done the Marvel Villainous. They've done all these other Disney. Basically, they're pretty much the company that put out the Disney board games. and now it looks like they're also putting out the trading card game, which is Disney Lorcana, which is a very interesting name, because you think it would be called like Disney the Trading Card Game or something like that. But instead they're going with this vague Lorcana name.
Well, they're kind of making their own setting as well, right? Because it's kind of like a weird sci-fi-ish fantasy kind of mashup, I think.
Like a Kingdom Hearts kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's like alternative versions of Disney characters. So this isn't like a trading card game that's being made by Disney but not featuring Disney characters. It will feature Disney characters. It's just they might also, I don't know, be wearing armor or have a big knife. I don't know.
Kind of like Daddy, Hot Woody that we sent you.
Hot Woody
oh
would be in
God, I forgot about Hot Woody.
Whatever game that is.
That was some kind of like MOBA or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it is weird. It is weird that they're like quite a few of these now kind of weird little sub IPs where it's like you get all the Disney characters, but they've got their own kind of like weird setting that they have to adhere to. Like, because you've got that Sorcerer's Arena thing as well, which we played the card game of, or the board game of rather. It's just there's a lot of like strange little sort of, I guess it's a way of, you know, having these characters be able to like do battle and things like that without kind of tarnishing the good family name of Disney, you know.
Otherwise, like, why is Snow White like beating up Lilo? Like we gotta
He's
justify
a child. Snow White, stop! He's already dead.
Look, Lilo's got an attitude. She probably said something that was rude.
True. Love her.
But she's really cool though. I've not seen that film in years.
It's a great film.
I remember really liking it.
I recommend watching it again. Still fantastic.
Let's do a Dicebreaker watch along for DB Plus.
And then there's a fish that eats a sandwich.
Yeah.
The peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, they feed him tuna because that's an abomination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is the weather. Yeah.
Lorcana has apparently been in development for several years, according to Ravensburger and Disney. It was also co-designed by Ravensburger brand manager Ryan Miller. Miller's worked in a few trading card games, including Card Games 4, you're going to love this, Naruto Boruto.
Yes, come on!
Godzilla.
Finally, it's my moment as the biggest Naruto fan in all the world. Me, Michael Wild Whelan.
Me, yeah. Evangelion, My Hero Academia, and...
So are these all trading card games, or is this just...
No, they're card games. They're card games based on like these things.
Okay.
And apparently a Digimon card game.
Oh.
I'd love to play a card called Get in the Robot Shinji that forces my opponent to get in a giant robot.
Get in there, I'm just crying. Basically, what this seems to be is essentially like Magic the Gathering, but Disney. Like, this is the vibes. These are the kind of vibes we're getting from this recent press release. Apparently, there's going to be how many packs a year? So I'm reading the wonderful the wonderful news article written by our very own Chase Carter, our Texan boy news writer,
Chase,
news extraordinaire.
Shout out!
Available now on Dicebreaker.com. Go have a look.
No, Chase is not available now. He's probably busy, but the news piece is. There's not a huge amount of information about this. Obviously, Disney owns their own like animated films, along with Star Wars and Marvel. So we can possibly assume that that's going to.
Oh my god!
Be included here.
Darth Vader versus Stitch.
Mickey. Yeah.
Mickey
Why
goes
do
to
they
It's the only films.
I thought you were talking about, I don't know.
Who would have better?
Oh, you like Hercules, don't you?
I love Hercules.
Yeah, what if
Treasure Planet,
Hades got in a fight with Kylo Ren, you know?
Yeah.
That's apparently the concept we all want to see.
In a fan fiction, he probably already has, but...
I don't know if they had a fight, me, and in a fan fiction. This is like the first trading card game that Ravensburger have really done, isn't it? Like I can't recall them ever really publishing something of this kind of size.
I can feel Matt Jarvis breathing down my neck. They possibly haven't. I'm not that I know of, really. Like Ravensburger tend to do board games and puzzles. That tends to be their big thing. But it's very likely that because Disney have like a very good relationship with Ravensburger, that it just made sense for them to kind of work together on this. So even though they're not, massively experienced in trading card games, they are a huge tabletop company. And they already had that established relationship, so it's not hugely surprising that they're going with Ravensburger. But it does seem like Magic the Gathering has always been huge. Obviously there's Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically the top three are pretty much Magic the Gathering, and then it's Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And every other card game that sort of exists that's vaguely along the same lines either doesn't exist anymore or is sort of like oh my god, Rise of the Phoenix Born, what's that one? Ashes? That's sort of similar, but not really. Like I can't think of any other game that kind of is along the same. I know there's a Final Fantasy trading game, but I don't think that's nearly as big. It might not even be supported anymore. But
because that's done by Square Enix themselves, I think, weirdly. So they have their own tournament scene and stuff like that.
I mean,
also, I saw it at UKG and it looked awful. But
I think it's one of those games that's huge in Japan that everyone else, maybe has a niche audience. But essentially, there are 3 big dogs and 1 very, very big dog at the top, which is Magic the Gathering. And it seems to me like Lorcana is kind of like Disney have looked at that and gone, so where haven't we conquered yet?
Well, they're kind of doing that with a lot of things, right? Because they've got a MOBA, they've got a gotcha game, they've got they're like we're just gonna have everything Disney available so that you never have to do something that isn't owned by us ever again.
You never have to see something without Mickey or ears on ever again.
I do just want to read out the final paragraph of this article, because
this was written by Chase. So
exactly. I think Chase deserves a shout out for this incredible finale. Yeah. For those leery of the continued encroachment of licensed mega pastiches supplanting original creative work in the tabletop space, Lorcana is an inevitability in a market that prizes pop culture recognizability over original creative work. Make space at the drafting table for the Disney adults, and get ready for debates over how overpowered Darth Vader is in your goofy tribal deck. Chase Carter, you beautiful man.
Oh, I know. That's incredible.
Chase Carter, excellent writer.
People in the chat are suggesting some hot versus here. Chewbacca versus Baloo, Princess Elsa versus Princess Leia. We've got Vader v Zurg, which actually I think would be quite funny. Chip and Dale versus Doctor Doom. Donald Duck versus Galactus.
Goofy versus Jar Jar.
Oh god.
Goofy will kill anyone and everyone.
It's like they're making a card game out of the multiverses, I don't know.
Well, the fun thing is, some people were talking about this, and sort of a disclaimer, like I sort of follow Magic, but I'm not like really a player myself, but I have seen people talk about the fact that obviously Magic the Gathering recently announced in their Wizards Presents they're doing more of the my god, what are they called? They're the packs that are based on like different licenses. They've got a stupid name now.
Secret
Lair?
No.
Not that. That's like the just art.
It's like art. Universes, something like that. Oh my god. They're doing...
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that one. Yeah, someone in chat will say it in about 5 minutes.
I'll find the news article when it loads. But they're doing like a Doctor Who one, for example. So they already announced the Lord of the Rings one. They showed off some of that. They're doing a Doctor Who one. I'm sure they're doing another one that I can't remember. So originally they did the Secret Layers, which were the stupid drops that were based on
excuse me, they were based on horoscopes and they're very this year, so are they stupid because I can have a Leo land? That's not stupid.
They were very limited and they would often be very expensive for what you actually got.
It's like fancy art, basically.
Well, they're basic collectibles, aren't they? I don't think they're that.
They're not really meant to be used in play. Like, I don't think anyone does use them, but no, they're doing these new like full-on complete sets based on these different like licenses.
Universes Beyond, thank you.
That's the one. Thank you very much. Universes Beyond. That they're doing that, and obviously they announced Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who. So they're doing that, and now it's obviously like Lorcana has been in development for several years, so it's not like just come out in response to this. But it's very interesting the fact that some people were talking about, oh, maybe before this was announced, they were talking about, oh, maybe the universes beyond will include like Star Wars or Marvel or things like that, and like clearly it's not going to, because they're doing their own trading card game instead of working with Wizards of the Coast.
Honestly, it literally could be that some bloody marketing executive was talking to Wizards, and they were talking about like the fees involved,
and they had a just went, cigar in their mouth. Yeah,
you know what? We'll just make our own TCG. Actually, don't worry about it.
They were like, "Sure, so, you know, there might be some money in this."
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously, it's been. I wonder whether that did happen. I mean, like, we have so many historical examples of that. Like the PS1 exists because of a deal that fell apart between, like, was it Sega and Sony?
I think it was Sony and Nintendo, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you're right. It was Sony and Nintendo. They were gonna make a disc console together, and then something fell apart, and then Sony were like, "Why don't we just do this ourselves?" And lo and behold, the PS1 exists. Okay. I wonder.
Good things. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
tell you what, the Steam Deck is fantastic for emulation, so I might be playing some PS1 games at some point.
I mean, it's always good to have more competition, to be honest, in the market. Like, obviously, Disney is a huge bailoff, so it's not really the same as like a smaller company coming in trying their own thing. But maybe that's what it takes to go up against Magic the Gathering. But I mean, the key here is obviously Magic the Gathering has had the fact that it's been around forever. It's got a dedicated fan base. Like if you type in trading card games, Magic the Gathering is going to be one that comes up. But Disney has an advantage here potentially with people who have looked at Magic the Gathering and they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
I'm scared.
It'll be interesting to know whether like they're trying to go for a different audience than Magic Gathering, or if they're trying to go for the same. Like, are they going to try and like skew it younger, like make it less complicated, like easier to like kind of entry level? Like, it'll be interesting to see like what they are trying to achieve with it. Because obviously, Magic's not like so complex. You know, it's not like crazy complex, but it's like if you're trying to get a kid to play it, I'm assuming like this. I don't know what the age limit for Magic is, but
if you're trying to get a kid to play something, having like, I don't know, Woody on there, or like, you know,
Hot Woody,
Hot Woody.
Yeah, having Hot Woody on there. You know, they're probably going to be more likely to want to play a trading card game that has characters that they recognize in there, right? Like,
yeah, I also wonder if like moving away from, because like Magic has kind of a sort of, whilst it's high fantasy, it's also got like quite dark elements like demons and all that kind of stuff. I wonder having like a more sort of quote unquote family friendly kind of setting to it.
Yeah.
If they're going to go for more like, oh, no one dies, we're just having a magical spell battle or whatever, you know, all those kind of things will just sort of just lower that floor for how early they can get people to start playing. And, you know, maybe that's where their market lies, and the people who, like you said, Maddie, aren't really like capable of like getting their brain around Magic, not capable, sorry, but like, you know, aren't really interested in getting their brain around it, and also just, you know, aren't maybe playing like games to get like gore and like super muscular giants and whatever. Maybe they just want to have like a more of a kind of cutesy aesthetic or anything like that, you know. But we shall see.
Yeah, the launch is going to be autumn 2023.
Oh, wow, okay.
And apparently there's going to be, they've already announced there's going to be continued support after the release date. So presumably they're going to do starter set launch or something, and then they'll continue to release packs like after that. But I imagine that they'll release packs. Yeah, like I don't know whether they're going to release packs on specific characters, like films or something, or on like themes.
I guess you could do like franchises, like you could have like, oh, we're going to do a big Star Wars thing, or we're going to, here's
They
like
might come back
the
to
princesses, or like a Pixar pack or whatever. I don't know, but I do think that I like, considering the amount of weight that they're going to have, it seems like they are putting a lot of investment in it. It's not like something that they're just like, hey, we're releasing this next week or whatever.
Yeah.
Like most tabletop publishers, like they're giving it like a proper big sort of pre-announcement, building up hype, all that kind of stuff. I would love to see, because the guy sort of like in charge does seem to have like a bit of a background in sort of trading card games, license on things, but I would love to see like what kind of direction they're going with the actual gameplay. Like, are they going to keep it quite straight and narrow? Is it going to be sort of magic-y but a bit more simple, or are they going to do something a little bit different? Like, are they going to, I don't know, introduce like dice and stuff? Like, what's the plan here? That's my big interest at the moment.
We've had like Star Wars Destiny, for example, which RIP. That was was that a trading card game or a living card game?
It would be Fantasy Flight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's Fantasy Flight,
so
it's probably living, right? So there have been examples in the past of card games based on these kind of licenses. I don't think there's ever been one based on like Disney animated characters. And there's been there are Marvel card games, like dozens of them. But Disney animated films have never quite had I don't know if they've ever thought the audience was there to do something like that. But now maybe they're like, oh, we have something to please everyone, right? We have like the cutesy characters, the nostalgic stuff, the Star Wars, the Marvel things for people who are like, I don't want to play with the kiddie thing. They could look at it as like, this is how we get younger audiences into trading card games, right? And let's just face it, trading card games they are a source of money. You keep putting out those sets, people will keep buying them, especially if they are like, I want to keep up with the meta.
Yeah, every time Disney releases a new movie, if they can release a new pack, easy money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can release packs alongside a new film or even series or whatever. It's all part of the ever growing and ever hungry machine of corporation.
But turning red pack would be, I would love to see it. I want that big panda.
Never going by your side. Oh my.
I'll take it.
I just want a card that just says Awooga.
When's the carry on pack? That's what I want to know.
Oh god,
Disney. That's what we really want.
I don't know who owns the rights to that. Probably BBC.
I hope whoever does has locked it away.
Can you imagine carry on the card game?
Carry on card gaming.
Yeah. Oh my god. And there's just a card that's just boing. And it has the ability to distract all enemies.
Manuel Lichtenegger says, still mad that Disney doesn't treat Xenomorph as the proper Disney princess that she is. Which
they own that?
Apparently they own that.
Should be on the princess pack.
I think it is on Disney Plus, right? So...
are we gonna get everything that's on Disney Plus?
Oh my god!
All those weird rom-coms.
On there. There's a load of really bad stuff on there though, like the number of 60s Disney films that just that darn cat, or Slime Some Space or something
like
that.
X-Files.
Oh yeah,
I'll take an X-Files card game.
What if they owned Mac and Me? The McDonald's alien.
What?
Grotesque.
Have you not heard of this, Manny? Oh god. Google Mac and Me when you get home. You'll love it.
Yeah, just Google Mac and Me, I don't know, wheelchair falls off cliff scene or something.
Yeah.
That scene tells you everything you need to know about this film.
There'll be countless YouTube videos on it. Maybe we'll make a Dicebreaker Plus video on it.
Oh my God, I was going to say something. Oh yeah, because it's funny because obviously like Kingdom Hearts is Disney and Final Fantasy, right? And there's a Final Fantasy trading card game. Is there going to be a crossover?
I would assume they would have a Kingdom Hearts thing, yeah. But yeah.
No, I mean like with there's the Final Fantasy trading card game, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I mean...
Unfortunately, the world is their oyster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are mostly... I will say, like, it doesn't feel like they're half-arsing this. It feels like they're at least, like, throwing everything they've got at it, which is better than just, like, here are some packs. Like,
like, just buy it. It has Mickey Mouse on. Like,
buy, you idiots.
Yeah. Like,
got Mickey Mouse
building something.
Hopefully this means they're like building a gameplay system and they're thinking they're not just like, let's slap Goofy on a card and people will enjoy it. They're like, and don't get me wrong, I love Goofy, but hopefully they're also thinking like, oh, this is how the game is going to work. We're going to release sets not just based on like the characters but also based on mechanics, things like that. So yeah, it is interesting, and mayhaps Magic the Gathering will have like a significant rival until.
I would absolutely love it if they just literally made a carbon copy of Magic the Gathering, and I could have like a Goofy Planeswalker card called like Goofy, awkward father, and I get like an ability where I can embarrass my son.
Okay, love that.
What, Max?
Maybe I will play it.
Why do you want to embarrass Max?
Because that was the plot of the film.
Yeah, I know, but like in the like the process of the game, like.
Maybe my opponent is playing with Max cards, and I can embarrass them.
That is a very specific mechanic.
Look, it's a specific build, but it pays off 1 out of 100 times. I can't believe we have to wait until literally next year before I can get my Hot Woody card, though. That's really upsetting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
What if we get it and
Look,
he's not hot?
People don't even know what Hot Woody is. Like,
I'm pretty sure we talked about it somewhere.
I don't think we have. And also, that requires everyone to have listened to that very specific episode of being actually.
Well, I'm sorry that they're just not dedicated enough.
Yeah, come on. The Dicebreaker Podcast universe.
We found this when we were doing the Disney Sorcerers Arena. We found this weird MOBA that they put out on mobile, and they've got like dark fantasy versions of Disney characters, and Woody Mirrorverse, and Woody is like this bearded bounty hunter in a sci-fi world, and I was like, Alex Meehan, is this Woody hot? Do you find this Woody hot?
Is the fact that it was me specifically?
Well, yeah, you are. We already talked about the specific sub channel that you're going to exist in the Discord. You're the expert of this sort of kind of thing.
I can't believe you're sad that you're the one we wanted to consult about it. Like you're the one that we ask. You're the one we. You've
built your entire brand around erotic fan fiction. I don't know what you want us to do.
I think. Oh wait, hang on. So this is very confusing, right? Because you search heroes.
Google Mirrorverse Woody if you're at home.
I searched Disney MOBA game and it came up with Heroes Battle Mode, which is not this. The MOBA is Mirrorverse, and
if you're at home and you want to see Hot Woody, Google Mirrorverse Woody.
Yeah,
it's in mirror that you look into. Verse is in multiverse, and then Woody.
Oh my god, no!
It's Hot Woody.
No. People have been making things based on this already.
Oh,
yeah. Well, there you go. You can't tell me that when they were designing that, they weren't like.
What, Will?
This is the one for
let's make him hotter,
Yeah. You gotta have something for the mums. You got something for the dads and lads. You gotta have something for the mums.
Yeah.
The mums and bums.
Yeah.
The mums and what?
Mums and bums.
The mums and bums. Yeah. Basically, I'm so thrown off now.
There's Hot Genie as well.
I'm getting flustered. Basically, Mirrorverse is so weird because it's like, now these are like for grown-ups or something, where they're like, this isn't your daddy's Disney game.
But this is kind of the question though. Is that the route they're going to go down? Are they going to make it like oh, look at all of these like cool, edgy versions of.
Yeah, are they going to go
characters.
edgy or are they going to go cutesy?
Or is it like, oh my god, it's Mickey Mouse, but he's in a little outfit, you know? Which I would assume.
It's Mickey Mouse, but he hasn't got a shirt on.
And he's ripped.
Do you know about this? Do you know about this in Kingdom Hearts?
No. Yeah.
Oh, Maddie.
I've actively avoided Kingdom Hearts at every possible moment. I'll be honest with you.
I think if you play Kingdom Hearts, like a record should be put on your government, like profile or whatever.
Matt Jarvis is playing Kingdom Hearts.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Matt should be on some kind of like Kingdom Hearts players list so that people know. So that when he comes into a conversation, you'd be like, oh, hold on, he's played Kingdom Hearts.
No,
check on some kind of register where he lives.
I didn't want to use the word register because of the connotations.
I'm not playing Kingdom Hearts, but I do know there's a specific bit where, for some reason, Mickey Mouse is not wearing a shirt. And you see his little Mickey nipples.
Yeah, his nipples, if you will. Look, we've got actual real life evidence here. Manuel Lichtenegger says, all right, just Googled it. Definitely screams DILF to me.
Thank you.
So there we go.
It's not just us.
It's Woody, but there we go. All
right. There's quite a lot of people commenting on Hot Woody.
Yeah, they wanted to cash in on that McCree fame. Yeah, there you
go. Tell us about Hot Woody and what you think about him. At our various social media places, like @join Dicebreaker on Twitter. You can also email us about Hot Woody.
We're just going to get loads of @join Dicebreaker pictures of Hot Woody now.
Do it. Confuse Matt Jarvis.
Please.
Do it.
Oh yeah, definitely do it. Confuse Matt Jarvis.
If you've got like a... Oh,
Matt, the thing is, Wills, he won't be confused because he'll know exactly.
No, he'll just be tired.
You're like, oh, I should have been on the podcast. I should have made time to moderate them.
Yeah, he's not here. The Honored One says in one of the spin-off games they explain why he is shirtless.
Wow, they had to address it.
Look, Maddie, it's very important.
It's very important lore. Very important lore. Yeah, if you want to give us a follow, please do hit subscribe, click the bell icon to get notified whenever we put a new video live. We've also got an email called contact@dicebreaker.com where you can send any burning questions you have for us that we may even answer on the podcast. So if you've got some very important Hot Woody questions, send them on over. Even if it's not Hot Woody related, we'll still give it a read. But we can also find plenty more stuff over on Dicebreaker.com. And what have we got coming up?
Oh my god. I don't know what we've got coming up exactly, but I know what we've just put out.
Hell yeah, that'll do.
If you have been watching House of Dragon, the new Game of Thrones series,
seen Matt Smith in his suspect wig.
Yeah, these
I just feel like they photoshopped pictures of actors with that hair. I'm like, who looks the most upsetting? And then they hired him based on that. That's how I think they did it.
It's like, you know how we were talking about how Chris Pine just looks like he knows what email is in the D&D film? Yeah. Absolutely the same thing with Matt Smith. He just does not look right in that setting.
He's so like otherworldly in like a horrid way. That he shouldn't be there.
Sorry, Matt.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, sorry, Matt Smith, if you're listening to this. If you're looking forward to House of Dragon and you want more Game of Thrones stuff, we have a wonderful list of the best Game of Thrones board games that you could play maybe this weekend.
Does it include the Game of Thrones board game?
It does include a Game of Thrones : the board game -- second edition. It does include that, along with some other really excellent picks. Thank you, Samantha Nelson, for writing that. We've also got another list of the best the
best DOMs? Hope I'm in there.
Hot Woody's in there.
Hot Woody's in there.
I can't stop laughing now.
I just got a notification on my thing that said reducing noise. If only that was a feature we had on all of our streams.
Every time you laugh, you just go silent. After a while, after a minute, you're just silenced.
The best it's a list of the best Dominaria United cards. It's Magic the Gathering's new set.
Yeah, nothing to do with what we were talking about.
I don't know if they've got any DOMs in there, but they probably do.
There's a lot of DOMs in Magic the Gathering, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe you should do a list of the best DOMs in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
I already did that members video of the sexiest characters in Magic the Gathering.
Follow up, hottest daddy DOMs of Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. That list is by Jason Coles, not the DOMs one, the Dominaria United cards. Oh, and I also did an opinion piece about D&D and why I'm not happy about the fact that they're getting rid of editions, it seems.
Yeah, that's valid.
The honourable one says, who's a better Dom, Hot Woody or Shirtless Me?
You can find out on the next episode of the Dicebreaker Podcast. But until then, please do stick around here on the YouTube channel. Maddie, what have we got coming up this weekend?
Speaking of Disney and younger audiences, if you're interested in getting kids into tabletop gaming,
I thought you were going to say if you're interested in getting kids. Wait, hang on.
End of sentence there. If you're interested in some family-friendly board games, we've got a basketball games for kids coming out this weekend, which has got some very fun things on it, which adults would also enjoy, like just fun. Dexterity games are for everybody. Lots of fun stuff there. And Sunday, if that's happening, we've got some very, some creative video.
Liv is currently editing it. If you watched our Spelljammer Let's Play, you might have noticed the beautiful vessel that we crafted out of toys and scrap wood. You get to see the behind the scenes of how we did that, which is very, very fun. It's a very silly video.
Yeah.
We all lose our minds after about 5 seconds. And it just sort of carries on from there. So look forward to that one. If you're a big kit bashing fan, if you like seeing wheels saw the head off a dinosaur, then we've got you covered. We've got you covered.
A real dinosaur.
A real dinosaur, yeah.
If you want to see us carve it and then panic it has fiberglass in it, and then I'll think we're dying in the studio because there's fiberglass everywhere, and then realizing no, that's not fiberglass because there's no fibers. It's a good time.
And also, why did they put fiberglass in this 90p toy? Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Dicebreaker Podcast. We will see you on the next one. So we've got videos going live tomorrow and the day after, so stick around here on the channel. Head on over to dicebreaker.com and read some of our fantastic articles as written by Alex Meehan and Chase and Matt and all the rest of the fantastic contributors that we have. And of course, we will be back next week with more live content, including the live stream on Thursday and another episode of the podcast on Friday. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you on the next one. But until then, thank you, Alex Meehan.
It's great. It's been great, yeah.
Thank you, Maddie.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you to those at home. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Bye.